I live in a house full of abandoned things. On the outside, the house isn't bad looking. Inside, however, is in need of heavy renovation. In the kitchen, the microwave above the stove no longer runs, and the handle is held in place by a rubber band. In the upstairs hallway, the burnt sienna paint job on the formerly cream walls is only halfway done. There's flooding in the basement from the summer rain, and the washer and the dryer sit down there in a puddle, collecting dust. We bought a new washing machine and dryer twice, but both broke within a year. We had the money to buy another machine, but we just didn't. In a family of 5, the laundry piles up quickly, so my mom would drag 4 to 5 stuffed duffel bags every week to the closest laundromat, then reappear with clean laundry 3 hours later. Stumbling through the mountain of shoes by the entryway, my 2 sisters and I would rush outside and help Mom with the bags of laundry. Sometimes I would exchange my fuzzy slippers for my sister's sand-encrusted Crocs. Other times I'd squeeze my feet into Mom's toe-pinching black pumps. Today, I slipped on my dad's sneakers with the dull neon stripes and wove my way through the piles of dirt and pebbles in the driveway from an abandoned gardening project. Dad stayed in his office, as always, on the first floor of our house, meaning he could come out and help. He just doesn't. "You know why?" Mom asked rhetorically, shooting daggers in the direction of Dad's office. "It's because he's lazy." "I'm not lazy," Dad would answer when Mom called him lazy to his face, which she does a lot. "You never do laundry, so you have no say," Mom would shout back. The conversation usually ended there, but Dad never changed his thinking. In my house, even conversations were abandoned, slowly decaying in the stalemate between my parents' Cold War. "Never rely on anyone," Mom always tells me and my sisters, even though she's been married to Dad for nearly 22 years. When she was 15, my mom immigrated from Vietnam to the States, learned English in high school, and then spent the majority of her life, even in college, either studying or working. Even though English wasn't her first language, she was accepted into a very competitive pharmacy program, and now works as a pharmacist at both a hospital and a retail store to provide for me and my younger sisters. And she goes to the laundromat every week. Whereas Dad's a homebody. He studied computer science in college, went on to work in IT from his home office, and hasn't budged since. Even on vacation, my dad prefers to stay at the hotel, watching historical dramas or ordering room service. He wasn't an absent father, but I wouldn't say he was attentive either. Maybe that's why we never bought new laundry machines. Maybe the reason why Mom never relied on technology was because she could never rely on my dad. Mom's words became my own. I began doing things on my own without being prompted. I'd study seriously for hours. I learned to spend wisely. I helped take care of my younger sisters. I started to fold the laundry. I was proud of who I was becoming, and I was becoming very alone. I hoped college would help. I imagined being the it girl, with a dazzling amount of self-reliance and friends. The workload was grueling, and I barely had time to think about relationships. But apparently I was the only one. Most of my friends started off singles, but as we trudged through sophomore year, somehow relationships began blossoming left and right. I didn't let it bother me. By the time finals rolled around that spring, I was sure that all of us would be focused on grinding the remainder of our exams and projects. But even then, the boyfriends were dropping off snacks and drinks to their girlfriends in the library. Cute. Good for them, but I can buy my own Dunkin'. But then, one time, in a dorm room group study session late at night, I was listlessly reviewing the notes I needed to memorize for my next exam, and overheard snoring from the lofted bed. One of my friends had fallen asleep, Apple Pen in hand. I watched as her boyfriend carefully returned her iPad and Apple Pen to her desk, climbed down the bed, grabbed her laundry basket, and headed out into the hall. My chest grew tight, and I wasn't sure if I was hallucinating. Was he going to do her laundry? Where was my helping hand? "Boys are intimidated by you," Mom would explain to me. "They see you and think you're too smart, too career-driven, too independent for them." But wasn't that what I was raised to become? I wasn't doing all of this work to be with someone. I was doing it to prove that I can. Although I'm starting to wonder if I'll ever be done proving that. I'm starting to wonder what it would feel like to have someone gently lift some of that load off my chest so we can sort and fold it together. Thank you.